All right, so let's dive into a really big idea today. What if the future of software development doesn't involve developers actually writing code? I know, it sounds wild, almost like sci-fi, but some of the biggest players in tech are convinced it's just around the corner. So let's unpack what that future could really look like, the good and the bad. And get this isn't just some random prediction. This is coming straight from Thomas Dohmke, the CEO of GitHub, which is, only the world's biggest platform for code. He's saying that for the top developers, this shift isn't coming, it's already here. Their job has changed from writing the code to designing the blueprint and then checking the AI's work. I mean, that's a pretty radical vision. So, what does a world like that actually look like? If developers aren't hunched over a keyboard coding, what are they spending their days doing? Well, the scale here is just staggering. We're not talking about AI providing a little autocomplete help. Nope. This is a vision, which Dohmke is echoing from the CEO of Anthropic, where basically all code, we're talking 90 to 100% of it, is generated by machines. Think about that. The entire digital world we live in, built by AI. Okay, so if that happens, it completely changes what a developer is. If the AI is handling the how, then the human's job becomes all about defining the what. And that gives rise to this whole new kind of role, the developer strategist. Dohmke actually lays out a pretty clear roadmap for how this happens. He says most developers start out as skeptics, doubting this AI stuff can really help. But then curiosity wins, and you become an explorer, just trying out the tools. Pretty soon, you're a collaborator, working side by side with an AI partner. And that final step? You become a strategist, where you're not coding at all. You're delegating that entire task to AI agents. So what does a day in the life of a strategist even look like? Well, it's not about wrestling with syntax or chasing down missing semicolons. It's about mastering the art of the prompt, getting really good at telling the AI exactly what you want it to build. And then, and this is crucial, you meticulously review the code it spits out. You become the editor, the quality control, basically the human mind behind the machine. And this would totally flip computer science education on its head. Instead of drilling students on specific programming languages, you'd be teaching them the core principles, things like abstraction, seeing the big picture, decomposition, breaking down huge problems into small pieces, and specification, communicating your ideas with absolute clarity. Those high-level skills, that's the new coding. It's a pretty compelling vision, isn't it? A world where you can build things at lightning speed, where ideas become reality almost instantly. But not everyone's buying it. In fact, some critics are calling this a dangerously rose-tinted view. They're arguing that this utopian vision of efficiency completely glosses over some very real, very new dangers, and that all that speed might come at a price that's just too steep to pay. The Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP, they're the experts on this, and they're flagging a whole new class of vulnerabilities. For instance, there's prompt injection, where you trick the AI into running malicious commands. There's sensitive information disclosure, where the AI accidentally leaks secret data. You've got supply chain compromise, where a tool the AI relies on gets hacked. And then there's data poisoning, corrupting the AI model itself to create hidden backdoors. Scary stuff. So you see the massive trade-off here, right? On one hand, you have the promise of incredible, unbelievable speed. But on the other, you have the peril of code that might be lower quality, that you didn't even write yourself, and that could be riddled with these brand new security holes you wouldn't even know how to find. But wait, it gets weirder. Beyond the security issues, there's a more fundamental, almost philosophical risk. Some researchers are worried about a bizarre feedback loop of decay. Seriously, think about this for a second. Today's AI models learn from this huge ocean of data on the internet, most of it made by humans. But what happens when that ocean starts getting filled up with AI-generated code, AI-generated articles, AI-generated everything? What does the next generation of AI learn from? Researchers from top universities like Rice and Stanford have a pretty stark warning about this. They say that if these models don't get enough fresh, human-made data, they are pretty much doomed. It's exactly like making a photocopy of a photocopy. Each copy gets a little blurrier, a little less detailed, and a little less creative than the one before it.
And believe it or not, there's a name for this, an autophagus loop. It sounds complicated, but auto just means self and phagus means to eat. So yeah, it's literally the AI eating its own tail, consuming its own synthetic creations until its understanding of the real world starts to get all warped and faded.
Okay, so this brings us to our final points, and honestly, it's a pretty big, ironic twist in this whole story. While GitHub's leadership is painting this picture of a perfect AI-powered future, what are its actual users saying about the platform right here, right now?
Yeah, there's a major disconnect. As the company is out there selling this grand vision of tomorrow, the developers who depend on its platform today are actually raising alarms about something way more basic: the site's speed and reliability.
If you go on forums like Hacker News, developers are not holding back. This user flat out says that GitHub's performance has been getting worse and worse. And for a developer, the speed of their main tool, that's everything. It's a really fundamental complaint. And this isn't just a handful of random complaints. This comment, which is reportedly from a former GitHub employee, confirms it. They're saying, yeah, the company knows performance is a huge problem, and it's a deep-seated issue that's been really hard for them to fix. So that leaves us with this one final, really critical question. It's one thing to dream up this flawless, super efficient future that's all driven by AI, but can you actually build that future when the very foundation you're building it on today is showing cracks? It's a huge paradox right at the heart of this AI revolution, and you can bet we'll be keeping a close eye on it.